Yeah, yeah.
And hi, guys. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about salary negotiations. How many of you are actually into the idea of getting a high paying job? How many of you are looking for that? Because I know some
Obviously, everyone who would deny that.
people who want to start their business.
Yeah.
Leave my
Job
job.
job creators would not like it. Job seekers would find it interesting. So
I asked you a similar question the other day in the live. Like literally, I asked you a question yesterday in live regarding this.
did I miss
Yeah,
that out or did I answer that?
absolutely.
I think
Oh, yeah, you did.
the,
Like,
Yes,
who are more
absolutely.
important? Job seekers, like, are job seekers as important as job creators? That
yeah.
was a
Right.
very interesting question, by the way. Khadija had asked me that, do you think that the people, employees are as important as employers? I told her the difference and why people choose, like, why there are more employees than employers, and at the same time, how important employees are, without which employers make zero sense. So even till date, I would always say that I am a no one. I'm just like one of the dumb guys in the team, and I've got specialists out there who are doing their jobs. If I can help them out, that's great. But overall, they are the people who are actually executing. I'm just this person who's just making everyone work together. So in the end, I think that employers are made thanks to employees. Otherwise, उनकी कोई हैसियत ही नहीं है. Like I don't think I can put it in a better way like that. So it's all about the team. One person cannot, there's nothing called a one man army, and even if they are, they don't scale up too long. Like, they need a team eventually. So yeah, that's my take. That was my take on that. Vikas is noting it down. Oh my god, like he's literally noting it down. Okay, employees, unki koi auqat hi nahi. Okay, so let's get started really quickly. Vikas, I'm sorry, so making you a little conscious if I did. So important thing out here. Let's talk a little bit about salary negotiations. Again, it's a humble request, if possible, kindly turn on your videos, because if it's turned off, I can't really have a conversation. I would much rather prefer having a conversation with a person who is, like who I can see. It makes more sense like that. So, all right, let's begin and let's talk a little bit about salary negotiations after all. So okay, I'm not gonna make it pretty much like we usually have sessions wherein you guys talk more and I just probably want to listen and then in the end give my reviews. This one's gonna be slightly different, but still I'm gonna make it more conversational with time. How many of you have actually watched it? I mean, I want to put you guys at a very awkward situation and make you a little self-aware of the fact that you should have probably completed the course. But how many of you have completed that one part about salary negotiation? There was actually a part in the course about salary negotiation. Okay, Srija has done it. बस only Srija has done it. Wow, बेइज्जती मार देते यार तुम लोग तो मेरी एकदम मुंह पे. अच्छा, no problem. So even if you haven't done it, let's try to cover a few pointers from it so that we can do it really, really quickly. Divya, it's a part of the course, not about the class, but yeah, I get it. You can still do it. So what we have to do is, so first question would be, um, let's say an employer asks you that, first of all, I want to make it more relevant to the people who actually are job seekers. I had asked a question: how many of you are job seekers? How many of you are looking for jobs? No, 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 ऐसे नहीं. Give me a yes there. I want to see people. Yeah, let's see some yeses out there in the message box. Let me call them out, because then I know whom I'm actually speaking to. Rachel, Khadija, Ayontini, we've got uh, Srija, we've got Ayush. Khadija is again like she needs 2 jobs. Then we've got Hiren is like, I'm trying to quit. That's a whole different kind of negotiation there. Sheetal is there. I want to start own thing. Okay, Divya wants to start her own thing. But nevertheless, see, the point is that even if you are looking for a job or not, these are some important hacks. And the great thing is that as an employer, if that is thrown at you, then what to say? So it's a pretty clever thing. Let's try to understand from both sides. So number one, I just randomly ask one person. Okay, I'm going to pick up Divya. Okay, so Divya, I'm going to ask you this question: that if I say, so let's say that like we're done with the entire interview round and everything, right? So now my question to you would be that, hey Divya, what is the, okay, first of all, what kind of a job are you looking for?
I have done the forensic course, so I'm gonna be looking for a job in the forensic only.
Forensics
forensic
firm?
documents.
Okay, all right. So you're gonna
Forensic
enter
documents.
as an entry level position?
It's going to be like a scientific position, basically. Forensic scientist expert.
So
Yeah,
like
forensic expert position.
okay. So do you have any
Because
past
in a
experience?
lab. Yeah, I have worked in a lab and I have started my own thing. But I was working at T. Cesare Court as a freelancer expert.
Okay.
But due to lockdown, it's all been stopped.
All right. So let's just assume that there's this huge forensics company. Name the biggest forensic company that you know in the world.
There is no, but there are quite some labs like SIFS, uh, Premium Lab here in Delhi.
All right. So let's take one of these brands and
Also,
let's say that you're getting a good position out there. Okay. Like that's a very good position according to your past experience and everything. I'm going to ask you simple questions. Like, for example, hey, Divya, what are your salary expectations? Okay. So my question to you would be that, you know, there's something called CTC. I hope everybody knows. If someone does not know the full form of CTC, can you put it there in the box below and actually tell me no idea what CTC is? That's fine. You can just say no idea. No idea.
I don't know what it is.
That's fine. No, fine. No idea. Yeah. Somebody's already answered. No idea. No idea. CTC stands for cost to company. Okay. Cost to company means how much cost is the company going to bear. Okay. Now, just because your package, let's say you get an annual package, right? That's something you must have heard, right? After college, you get an annual package. Let's say annual package is 10 lakh per annum. Okay. Now 10 lakh per annum, let's make it easier. Let's make it 12 lakh per annum just for calculation purpose. So 12 lakh per annum seems like a good package. And you might be thinking that we'll get 1 lakh per month. That's the normal thing that we'll think, right?
Right.
That's wrong. You never get 1 lakh per annum, like 1 lakh per month. That's definitely not the case. That's the cost to company. So company will have to pay 10 lakh from their pocket on one resource or 12 lakh from their pocket on one resource. But in reality, it is not what you are getting. You're not getting 1 lakh per month. You're going to get a cut part of it because there are many things that you actually have to take care of. There are PFs. Anybody knows PFs? What PF stands for? You can say no idea. You have no idea. You can again say no idea. That's fine. People who know, you can. It's fine. Just hold your horses.
Provident fund.
People who does not know. People who do not know. Yeah, provident fund. Provident fund. Rachel does not know. Good. These are good things. See, if you don't know these, good, because actually I'm not joking. Weirdly, these things should be taught in school and I have no idea why they're not taught. Okay. Like I'm actually an ardent, what do we call it? I go with a torch and I actually go out there and I keep saying this all the time that schools should be teaching these stuff. I have no idea. School should be teaching how to file income tax returns and these and that. That is more practical and more required. I don't know why schools don't do that. But PF stands for Provident Fund. Okay. Now I want to start a YouTube channel, how to pick up girls. Wow. Okay. Way to link this topic to that. Okay. So Provident Fund is something wherein you know that's a part of your salary that gets cut and added to a certain fund amount. It is a way you're saving your taxes in a way. Okay. Apart from that, there are several other places like, you know, there's some amount that goes to mutual funds you can give. There's there's also something called income tax that you have to give. I hope you know about, you know, like tax brackets and all. Then there's something called TDS, depending on, like, you know, if you're a client. TDS, anybody has any idea what TDS, what's the full form of TDS? Anybody knows the full form of TDS? Tax deducted at source. Well done. So TDS stands for tax deducted at source, which means that that's the amount that gets deducted. Usually that is an amount, anyone who crosses more than 25,000, like if you have to pay that person, usually that's where the tax gets deducted and a certain amount of tax gets deducted from it. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Anybody can be from any field, but this is an important, these are important stuff because this is in real life. And I'm not gonna tell you how to save your taxes and all. Honestly, I myself am not an expert in that, so I'm not gonna claim to be an expert at that. I'll read more about it and definitely have another session wherein I can give you more gyan about that. But yeah, it's not about that. Major thing is that let's say that there is something called a cost to company, CTC. That's how people ask you that, like imagine you want a package. What package would you be happy with? Let's say Divya says something like I'm happy with the 12 lakh per annum CTC. So okay, no, let's not do that. Let's rephrase it. Let's go to Ayantini. I know that Ayantini is really wanting to leave her job, right, Ayantini?
Yeah.
So Anthony, I'm going to ask you, for example, let's say, what's the job that you're looking for?
So currently I am into training and placements
Okay.
in institutes. Earlier I was working with colleges, and I want to go back to college because institutes are not paying me very good. Plus the job is very uncertain and very unorganized.
All right.
So the colleges are mostly like the annual or the semester pattern that actually works good. But the institutes are like, today a person is joining, today you start a class with it. And it's very sudden. So that's something that I am not looking for.
All right. So let's just pick up, like, let's say IIM Ahmedabad has an opening called training and development. So they need a trainer for training and development. Okay. Now they've interviewed you, everything's great, and you have to consider a very realistic scenario. Let's say you actually got a job offer and you gave interview rounds and everything, and in the end now we're sitting down for a salary negotiation. Now the question I'm going to ask you is, hi Antiri, what's the salary expectation that you have? What's your reply going to be?
So the basic that I would say, that is how much ever you can provide according to my knowledge and experience, I would be thinking about it, or I would be okay with it. I prefer to say this.
All right.
Because I do this because if I am saying an amount and maybe their budget is more than that, I don't want to kill that.
Okay.
So that is one of the safer side that I go for.
Fair call, fair call. Let's pick up Khadija this time. So Khadija, let's say I'm asking the same question. What are you, like, which job do you really want to go for?
I am from the IT field, and I'm more inclined to graphic designing or anything multimedia. So I'm looking forward to get a job in a field that revolves around IT, anything into technology, database, anything, IT basically.
Okay, all right. So let's just say that you're planning now. You're gonna get a job, and now in the end, I'm just asking you that. All right, what are your salary expectations? What is the CTC that you'd be happy with? What's your answer going to be?
CTC, cost to customer, right?
Cost to company.
Cost to company.
In short, annual package. Like, what annual package would you be happy with?
Well, of course, considering the tactic that you taught us in the live yesterday, I would think if I am going. Once again, I'm so sorry. Apologies for the inconvenience. So I am. Of course, like you said yesterday, it depends on the hours you're spending and per hour how much it matters, how much cost you would want. So pay you would want. So I would say. I don't know.
By the way, the thing that I spoke about yesterday was not about
For freelancers, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
freelancing. That's so that you get paid as a freelancer, not so that you get paid as a salaried employee. Okay, let's take it up a notch and let's go to Srija for a second.
I can say per month though.
Okay, tell me per month.
So 6,000, yeah. I'm expecting like around at least 30,000.
30,000. So that would mean round about 3.6 lakh per annum. That will be something that you'd be happy with, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Cool. So your answer would be 3.6 lakh per annum, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Let's ask Bikash. Wait, Srija. I'll just come back to you then. Hi, Bikash.
Hi, sir.
So, okay, same question to you. I'm going to ask you that, what's your expected CTC?
If I'm a fresher, then I will say.
Are you a fresher?
Yeah, I'm a student actually.
Bas, then answer exactly like that. There is no hypothetical scenario. It's realistic. Based on your skills, you're going to get a job right now. And let's say you're getting a job. I'm going to give you one job. So what's going to be your answer?
So I will directly say 6 lakhs would be better, 6 lakhs per annum.
Okay, great. All right. What about you, Srija? If I ask you the same question, what are you
So
looking at?
honestly, I haven't figured it out. So before going to the interview, firstly, I would be researching what is the standards. I would go and research how much a company is paying to other people and what is the average which is there. So like for example, if I'm saying like if the average is around 30 something for everywhere, I'll start with 40 or 45 so that it lands at around 30.
Not bad. By the way, clearly, she's given me that textbook answer, which was written out, which was spoken in the course. But yeah, that's a good idea. Number one, before you go, okay, so we've done the theory part, and Srija is absolutely right about the theory part, which means that, of course, if before going to your interview, you need to first go check out Glassdoor's, LinkedIn, Naukri.com, and see that similar position has what kind of job offers in the past from the same organization. So you know what is the expected salary. So don't go way too high, don't go way too less, but just make sure that you are going to speak about whatever it is. Okay. But now comes a little difficult. Okay, let's make it a little more difficult for you, Srija. So I don't want you what you're going to do. We're doing a mock, and I want you to say exactly what you're going to say. So let's say, Srija, hi, you are going to, I like you. What is your expected CTC? What's your answer going to be like? Answer exactly in the right scenario. Don't answer as if I am going to do this. You're just answering exactly to the interviewer. What's your answer going to be?
My expected CTC is going to be around 7 lakh a month in a year.
7 lakh per annum?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's an important point, and Bikash, now I want you to write this part down definitely. You never tell your expected CTC at any given point.
Yeah.
That's a trick question.
I forgot.
That's a trick question. No matter what happens, if somebody asks you, what is your expected CTC? You never answer that. Yes, Abhinav, good one. I'm actually going to go and tell you that now. Shall we say as per company norms? No, wrong answer. You should have known what are the company norms, what is the average CTC.
Can I do it once again? Now I sort of remember what you told me.
It's a trick question. Remember every single time. They will ask you and they will keep being very persistent, and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't be rude anymore. You know, like you're going to get that feeling that I don't want to be rude to them. I actually want to give them an exact CTC. What should I? You should never do that. It's always a trick question. Now, what are you supposed to answer? If somebody actually asks you things like, what is your expected CTC? The right kind of answer would first be, let's take into a scenario, two scenarios. Okay, one is you're an absolute fresher, where it's trickier, and the other, if you're an experienced person, where it's comparatively easier. Okay, let's go for the easier option first, then I'll go to the trickier one. So let's say you're an experienced person and you have 5, 6, 7 years of, I mean, let's talk about a realistic experience. Like, let me be very clear. An experienced person is a person with at least 3 years experience. Below that is not experienced. They're just at an entry level. Okay. Now many people will really flaunt it that, you know, we have 1.5 year experience. That's not experience that you just stayed in a company for 1.5 years. You still need much more time and energy to actually spend there. So like companies will not consider real experience until and unless you spent in that domain at least 3 years. Okay. And it also depends on a lot of other factors, like which college have you graduated from, what kind of skills do you have apart from the experience, in the experience, what kind of companies, what kind of people, how much bonuses have you received, and several other things. Okay. A lot of things are actually playing an important part in that. So chalo, let's just imagine you are a person with 7 years of experience. Now, in that scenario, if they're asking you what is your expected CTC, it's quite simple for you. You can say, in my previous company, I was getting this, and I was a little unhappy with that CTC because I was delivering far more revenues for the company than what I was getting paid. And to be very honest, I would be expecting at least a 30% hike. All right. Very simple answer. And you have a standard set because you already had a salary. Okay. Apart from that, it's even better if you have your own alternate sources of revenue. If you have your own alternative sources of revenue, let's say Hiren for that matter, okay, he is earning from somewhere or the other, he's making 30, 40 grand. And his CTC is giving him around about 70 grand. So Hiren can say something like, to be very honest, I already have a running business. And that's something like a side business, which I do like over the weekends. I don't want to completely get into the business zone. I am pretty happy with a nice job. And I just enjoy doing that. That's the reason I'm doing that. I don't want to change my career into that. But yeah, I'm making 30, 40 grand out of it and you're offering me 70. So if I'm giving my 3 to 4 hours and making 30, 40 grand out of that and you're offering me 70, that doesn't make sense. Of course, I am having an expectation of at least 1.5 or 1.25 per month, and only then it makes sense for me. Do you understand? So if you have a passive flow of income, it's even better. And the best part now is, now many people might feel that, oh, Hiren, you're being very snooty, huh? Like that's not the way you're supposed to be. You're being very arrogant with your money. What the hell is wrong with you? So Hiren, before that, of course, you have to proactively answer that. Let's see, I know I can think from the entrepreneur side. I know how to get revenue for myself. So of course, I know my ways to use my skills with bigger resources, with a bigger team, and with the right kind of environment that this organization provides. This is the right platform for me to showcase that if I can make 30, 40 grand for myself, imagine how much I can make for you. Do you understand? If you have a recurring passive income, it becomes like, it's much more than a cherry on the cake. To be very honest, it's like icing and then a cherry on the cake. It's beautiful. And the amount of power you hold in that negotiation is much, much higher. And the company realizes that, oh my God, this person's a specialist and we need to have him right now. Do you understand? So of course, that's one part of it. So I've explained you 2 scenarios. In fact, there were 3, I told you 2. So 2 scenarios are clear. Ab aate hai, let's go to the tricky part. The tricky part is, what if you don't have any experience? And if you are freshers? How many freshers here? Can I get a me from you all? How many me's can I get? Let's see. How many of you are freshers? Rachel, Srija, Ayush, Ashmita, Bikash, Animesh, Laksha. Okay. So for the people who are starting up in, oh my God, Priyanka, like just done with the 12th. Okay, just done with 12th board. Okay, interesting. So, all right. So for the people who really want and are just about to start their career. So if I ask you something like, what's your expected CTC? What are you supposed to reply to that? Of course, you're never supposed to answer directly that, yeah, my expected CTC is this much. It's a trick question. What I'm expecting you to tell me is, first of all, there is no right way to analyze what is the right kind of package for you. It all depends upon a lot on how much output you can give me. And to be very honest, it's a gamble for me because you're a fresher, right? It's a complete gamble for me because I'm a fresher. What you need to do is you need to understand how, like, this person has a lot of doubt and he's trying to figure out what kind of a resource does this person want. Now, put yourself in that employer's mind frame. Now, as an employer, when they hire freshers, they are expecting one of the 2 jobs. One, they want a person who can do the recurring tasks again and again because, well, they don't have the time for that. And they want someone to do that systematic thing. That's why you land jobs in big companies. Okay. Big companies may you never get to learn anything. So if you're thinking you're going to learn something and it's going to affect you a lot, that's a big question, right? A lot of people also have this question. What about, should we take a job in a startup or big companies? Big companies will teach you processes and systems. Smaller companies teach you hardcore reality. You'll learn far more in smaller companies than in big companies. But another thing is, smaller companies don't pay you that much. Big companies pay you hefty also. And depends. If it's a smaller company which is scaling up, it will pay you a lot. And if it's an entirely small company, you'll learn a lot. But it can differ with time. But yes, there is no right answer. If I ask you and I literally will give you an option that, okay, there are 2 companies, this and this. This is a big company. This is a small company. Which one would you choose? If the salary range is the same, I'm pretty sure more than half of you would definitely go for the big company because you want the bigger brand name on your CV. if I tell you that, okay, this is a big company, this is a small company, and the big company is paying you, let's say 10 lakh per annum, but the small company is paying you 17 lakhs per annum. I'm telling you, most of you would then choose the smaller company. I'm also 100% sure of that. Most of you. Okay. When it comes to big and small companies, if the big company is offering you, yeah, agreed, experience, done that, left because of dissatisfaction. Yeah. So when it comes to big company versus small companies, and both are offering you really low, like, very less amount, chances are again very high that you're going to choose the smaller company. And I'll tell you why. Because if it's a smaller package and you get into a big company, your role would be as small as your package. Your importance in that company is as small as the package. Whereas in a small company, even if the package is lower, you are a team member, you're not an employee there. Okay. Like, you might find certain employers who might be complete asses, and it's perfectly fine to be with someone like that, who would just have that hierarchical system that, I am the boss and you are this and you are that and all that. Of course, not the right kind of people to be around with. But you'd realize one thing, that if you've gotten the right kind of person, a right kind of leader, not a boss, who can guide you, can help you, but also remember one thing, okay? They're not going to tell you that, they're not going to tell you exactly what to do. There are two things, okay? Remember one thing. This is a scale that was taught to me by Billie Jean, by the way. Very interesting one. There's something called the skill versus commitment scale. Now, in the skill versus commitment scale, whenever I'm telling you from the employer's point of view, what really happens and how are you hired, okay? And then I'll tell you exactly what are required. Now, in a skill versus commitment scale, what's happening is that the employer is seeing, now there are 4 parts of it. In a skill versus commitment scale, I'm trying to see, if you have less skill, but more commitment, you're the perfect person I need. If you have less skill, but a lot of commitment, you're the perfect person that I need in a smaller organization, because I can pay you lesser, can make you work with me. And at the same time, while you are learning a lot, you're getting more and more responsibility, your salary is increasing. And at the same time, you feel loyal to the company, because in that company, you've literally evolved the most. That's for me. I usually look out for high commitment and lower skill. That's fine. Okay. Then there are some people who are high on commitment and high on skill. Now, when a person is high on commitment and high on skill, I have a resource like that. I think Srija would know already now, but Ayushi. Now, Ayushi is a person who's high on commitment and high on skill. Like, we have one person like that. Now, for such people, what are you supposed to do? I'm supposed to make sure that that person is well recognized. Okay, that's what they want in an organization. They don't want to be like, what they're really looking for is recognition, that I am important. That's what they're looking at. And if you can give them that level of importance, they're happy and satisfied. Then there are people with low commitment and low skills. Kick them out of the company as soon as possible. Okay, you don't need such companies, and we would never want such companies. So in an interview, if you're showing low commitment and low skills, well, you're definitely out. There's no doubt about that. But unfortunately, around 60% people have low commitment, low skills, and that's the reason they can't land good jobs. Okay. Then come people with high skill and low commitment. Okay. Do you understand this? High skill and low commitment, which means that you are extremely good, but at the same time, you have really low commitment. Again, they are toxic people to have in an organization. They're actually worse than low commitment and low skill people. Do you know that? You know why? Because they have a lot of skills, but very little commitment. They are going to fill hatred amongst other people in the organization, and actually not just leave alone, but leave 2-3 people along with them. They'll take 2-3 people along with them from an organization. Yes, they carry ego about their skills. And the worst part is it's like one rotten fruit spoils the entire, one rotten fish spoils the tank, right? That's what it says. Rotten apple wala bhi. I've heard both. But yeah, the problem is that they're actually going to be like, Arey, what are you doing? You're not even being recognized. I'm telling you, I'm getting a job offer there and this and that. And they'll do all that gossip and try to take one and the other resources out. And you'll start feeling like, what's happening? The same resource who was so committed, what's happening? Why is their commitment falling? It's a very communicable and they're very toxic people. So as an employer, what we are looking for in a fresher specifically is high commitment, high skill, of course, but if not high skill, at least high level of commitment, which means that's the reason when you're sitting out there, you need to have very high level of enthusiasm. And now write this down: curiosity. Extremely, extremely important. You need to have high level of enthusiasm and curiosity. Curiosity is a very, 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 very important part here. Okay. Now, when I say curiosity, what do I even mean? When I say curiosity, what I'm trying to explain here is that as employers, we're looking for people who can ask the important and critical questions to us. We're not looking for people who can give great answers. We're looking for people who can ask me important and interesting questions. I want to know how many of you, how do you even know that if the person's committed or not? You know if a person's committed or not. And trust me, I'm 100% sure not every one of you will understand what I'm trying to say. Or many of you will nod and be like, yeah, we got it. Very few of you will get exactly what I'm saying. And that's what I'm expecting. Those few of you who can pick this up. Very important for each one of you. Remember that. Okay. There are few people who keep answering. They'll be like, yeah, I know this, I know this, I know this, this, that, and they'll answer. And they feel we're so cool. The interview went great. They asked me questions and I answered everything. And they don't get selected and they go like, what an idiot, like I answered everything. God knows what went wrong. And they'll just be like, doesn't make any sense. But in reality, what employers are looking for is enthusiasm and commitment. But how do you showcase enthusiasm and commitment in that hardly half an hour, 30-minute conversation? Is that even practically possible? Now, many people will be like, how can you showcase that? How can you show loyalty? How can you show trust? How can you show commitment? The only way to showcase that is by asking critical questions. Remember that. Asking critical questions, asking precise questions. So for example, if there's some questions that I see here, I'll answer them. Okay. I see Khadija's question. I don't know if that a question or not. I'll go back to that. But if there is something like for example, somebody asks me, I think I've done this part as a part of the course as well, wherein I have told you guys that there's one question that you need to ask the employer itself. Like ask that person, and that's going to be really crazy because most of you are going to be like, huh? Why are you supposed to ask? We've heard them ask you, but why are you asking that? But the people don't ask this. But in fact, what you need to do is ask your employer, what is my future like in the coming 2 years, 3 years? Many of you will be like, huh? Isn't that something that they ask us? What are your 10-year plans or what are you going to be like? No, you've been here for quite a while. Either he's an HR manager or she's an HR manager or something like that, or you're directly talking to the founder. So when you're doing that, you can directly ask them. So either if they're working, so they can be like, how long have you been working? And, considering your experience, what do you think that in this current position, if I give my best performances and get the best kind of results for the organization, in 2 or 3 years, where can I see myself? Can you please help me out with that? Now, this is much more powerful than you saying that I'm a committed person. I am very powerful. I'm very thoughtful and I'm this and I'm that. Do you understand? Your words mean shit at that point of time. What really matters is what kind of questions you're asking, because that is not directly telling them that you are, this person is committed or not. It's very subtly telling them, which is much more clever than directly saying that, no, I'm a very committed person. I'm a team player. I'm a leader. I'm this, I'm that. These are things that usually an employer expects when you don't have the skills, and all you have to say is I'm a team player, I'm committed, I'm this, I'm that, and all that. Okay. And no offense, I know many of you would be like, oh God, I've done that once. I've done that. I've written that in my CV. Oh God, but that's okay. What I'm trying to explain here is that's fine, whatever you've done. And I'm not literally pointing each one of you and saying that, that's a horrible thing to do, but I'm just saying that's what the majority does. Okay. And that's how you can be a little different from the others. Don't point blank go out there and say that this is what I want. Instead, what you could do is you need to subtly put it across. And that is something that can be done through asking critical questions. So let's go back to that. Let's just go back to the point wherein what is your expected CTC? What are you supposed to reply to that? The right reply would be, well, as I remember seeing on Glassdoor, or as I remember seeing on Naukri.com, that the average CTC that an employee at my range gets approximately 4.75 lakh per annum, which is fair. I totally understand. That's what you'll get from all the people out there. But what I'm really looking forward is, and I really want to understand is, I recently saw this about your company, that you've currently reached this stage of the company, whatever it may be. Maybe you read something about it, maybe you asked something, and you know about the company stage. Through my role, how can I take you to whatever target you have? In my role, am I just going to be doing procedural work? Because I'm a person of impact. I feel recognized in a company if my actions are going to get in revenues for your organization. And I don't care. It may be finance, HR, operations, sales, marketing, whatever I am in. But my role needs to have an impact in the organization. I am not one of those people who's just one of the many. I'm one of the specialists. And even if I'm not right now because I'm a fresher, I have the right skills and I need a platform where I can execute all that. So just wanted to know, I'm going to give my 100%. People are going to give some number of hours. I'm going to give much more than that. But what I want to ask is, where will I reach? Let's say I'm giving my 100%. Where am I going to reach in the coming 1 or 2 years? Where can I see myself in this company? For just that very second, you're going to blow the other person's mind. At that very point, that employer is going to be like, okay, I am the person who has to answer that now. So if you remember the game of power, I don't know how many of you actually went through that. What's the game of power? You put the question to them so that they are at the spotlight and they have to answer that question. And when you do something like that, the other person gets swayed away by your response. You're not rude. There was nothing rude about what you said. Okay? You can never be rude about that. But what really would happen is that the other person would start getting the feeling that, okay, that's pretty clever. All right. So they try to sell their company to you. Do you understand what's just happened? From you wanting that job really bad, they are now trying to sell their company to you. That, in this company, you can expect this, you can expect that, you get this, you'll get that. And that's a pretty good position to be at. Okay. Post that, what you could be doing is then be like, all right. I would be much happier. So for example, if I get, I would be very happy according to me. And I think I can give the best of the results for the organization. Never talk about yourself. I mean, I've seen a lot of people do this and never ever do this thing. I'll start with the never and then say what to do. Never start with something like, I have travel, I have this, I have my family expenses, I have my mother to take care of, I have this, I have hospital bills. Nobody cares about that sympathy. In fact, the company will definitely not hire you because they'll be like, oh my God, this is going to bring more pain into my life. They're going to ask for more money here and there, dena pad jayega. And no organization wants pain. They want a person where they can focus on the goals, not focus just on that one person's personal problem. You should never mix personal with professional that way. So never do that, please. Instead, what you need to say is, in every piece of salary negotiation, you're asking them and you're actually telling them that whatever you're doing is for the organization. So you can say something like, I would be really happily working and will give optimal results for the organization if I get that. You understand? That's what you're supposed to say. Even if you're revealing that, you're saying, I could be extremely satisfied and I think I can give the best possible results for the organization with just 5.25. Let's say you're putting 5.25 lakh per annum. They're going to be like, no, we had a budget of 4.75, something like that. Let's say now they're going to be like, no, but we just had a 4.75 budget. I don't have a budget for 5.25. You could then probably ask something like, okay, 4.75, 85, 95, 05, 15, 25. So that's 50,000 rupees more. 50,000 rupees is divided by 12. How much? Around about, if I'm not wrong, 4,000, around about 4,000 a month approximately. So you can literally ask them that, is 4,000 rupees, like you can ask them, like, that's perfectly fine. I understand that. But is 4,000 rupees that huge an amount that you would rather hire somebody else who's an average and you might have to replace again and again? Or would you want to go with one resource who can stick on for a long period of time? When you question back with something like this, now they're going to be like, trust me, 4,000 is not the big an amount. So for them, 4,000 is not that. 50,000 seems very big, right? But you're not supposed to talk about, is 50,000? Yes, 50,000 is always a big amount. Instead, you're breaking it down. Now you're calculating and you're like, okay, very quickly processing the data. And you're like, is 4,000 that big an amount that you'd much rather make a wrong choice and take an average resource who might leave the company and is not as committed as I would be? Or would you rather prefer me coming on board with my skills, with my past experience, with my amazing commitment that I'm ready to give to the company? And I know that where you guys are going to reach. Most of these people probably won't even know where you want to reach. I am there and I know this. So would you want to go with somebody like me or somebody out there like them? Let's say even then they go like, no, we understand, you're great, everything's great about you. They might still say that, yeah, but we can't really go about 4.75. Be like, fair enough. I don't want to force, maybe that's the company budget. I'm sure that if it was up to you, you would have probably been okay with that. You understand? So you're putting something like that, putting them in that position, they feel very good when you say something like that. Be like, I totally understand. I guess if it was up to you, you would have probably done something like that, but it's all right. Okay, I'll be happy with 4.75. I think that my basic expenses are met in 4.75. But in what time? Like, how much impact can I actually bring so that I can reach that 5.25 goal? Because I want to work towards that. I want to earn that package. I want to earn that package rather than just asking for it. How can I get that? Let them say that, okay, so you can get there if you do this, that, this, and that's where you trap them. They did not say that, yes, you're in, or no, you're not in. Instead, what they've done is they're giving you the way that this is what you need to do so that you reach that. Now, it's not a question about, are you hired or not hired? The question is about, how can you reach that or how can you not reach that? Do you understand? That's where you've trapped them. So it's a very clever play of words, you'll understand. But a lot of people might not even be able to do this. This doesn't happen just like that. You can't expect that, okay, you're going to have that level of confidence and we can go out there and speak. Many of you might even be like, he's crazy. We never can have this kind of conversation. It's just not possible. It is possible. By the way, it is 100% possible and it's super easy. I'll tell you one funny thing. During my HCL interview, I was not even on the list because I had a pack. I think at that point of time, I had a CGPA of 5.88 or 5.92 or something, which is basically 58%. Okay, during my MBA, till the second sem, I guess. So that was my CGPA, which was horrible, obviously. And HCL had a cutoff of 6. And I was at 5.92, I think. Now I remember. Yeah, 5.92. So while most of the people who were not on the list, they gave up. I asked the CRC department, where is the head HR? And the person was like, she's there. I was like, okay, I want to talk to her. They were like, no, you can't go. I just stepped inside the room and I was like, excuse me, ma'am, if you don't mind me asking, I had a question. And she's like, yes, sure. Ma'am, I've done my graduation from Delhi University from Pol Science. And in Pol Science, you don't really get, oh, sorry. The cutoff in graduation was supposed to be 6. And I got a 60% and I got a 51%, something like that. And that's where I said I got a 51% in my graduation because it was an arts related subject. You don't get scored that high. So it's not really fair because I really want to be, and I think that I'm going to be the perfect guy for the job. I think this is something that you should at least consider me. And just for that 9%, you should not let a person go. She's like, oh, who stopped you? I'm like, ma'am, I think there's a cutoff out there. She's like, oh, don't worry. If anybody says anything, this is my name, this is my number. You can just ensure that doesn't happen. And ma'am said, you can't just step in like that. I was like, ma'am, like she actually said that I can sit for the places. And I was the only guy below 60% in my graduation to actually sit down for the placements. And that's what's sometimes required. All you have to be is a little more daring than the other people who are just going to be like, no, that's just awkward. That's just not right. The only difference between that and this is it's fine. What's the worst? I was just thinking, what's the worst that can happen? Worst will be, they'll be like, you can't sit. I was anyway not sitting. What's the worst that could happen? And that's what I did. I just went there and started speaking. And the same thing happened, by the way. The same thing happened there. I remember at that point of time, I'm literally revealing the numbers. It was a very similar scenario. the package I received, everybody was receiving, was 4.75, and I got a 5.1 package in my first job. It was a 5.1. I negotiated it up till 5.1, and that too in a company like HCL, where they will never negotiate in salaries. And I'm not joking. Try getting a job in HCL. You'll understand their HRs are brutal, like brutal. I'm not joking. They grill you like anything. But it was one of the great feelings that you get, right? Because you negotiated a salary, you got a higher package, and everybody was like, what? A company like HCL can never negotiate with you. Like, until and unless you had lots of experience, it's just not possible. But somehow, with these kind of conversation, the same kind of conversation I just told you about, I had it with a big company. With a smaller company, it's even easier, trust me. With a smaller or a medium scale company, it's far easier to do something like this because you can directly talk to the founder. Whereas in HCL, you have to talk to a basic level HR manager, then there's a senior manager, then there's a higher level manager, and there are at least 10 managers till the main founder. Okay? Founder is retired, but whatever. The point here is, while many of you might think that this is something that's just too difficult, just very, very hard, it is not like that. You just have to be a little more daring, but this requires a lot of practice. This cannot happen without you mastering basic communication styles, wherein you are expressing yourself. And I know this for a matter of fact, many of you are great at communicating, but if I make you sit down in an interview room, you're just going to be like, yes, my name is so-and-so, and yes, absolutely. You're going to get nervous. That cannot happen. And that confidence will come with more practice once we are here and we are actually talking with each other. And that's how we'll actually get much better in the interview room as well. Okay. And with that, I want to end me talking now, and I want to hear your things out if you have any further questions. So first of all, let me read some of the things because there were many people agreed, explained because of satisfaction. My brother joined Swiggy in starting phase, and when he left the company, CTC was 5 times more as compared to starting. Time he served was 3 years. Amazing, Ishan. That is obviously, that's winning trust while you're inside, and that's a great thing to have. But it's like, that's still something that is with performance, you can get that much higher. So for example, in sales jobs, I've seen people, so I'll tell you one thing, very funny, by the way. So one of my exes, she landed a job, and I remember that I helped her in landing the highest package from my college. Okay. So when she landed that job, her CTC was around about 12 lakh per annum, which was the highest. Okay. And when she landed that job, she was telling me that she was making 3 lakhs per month. I was like, huh? That doesn't make sense. How are you making 3 lakhs per month if your package is 12 lakhs? She's like, 2 lakhs I'm getting as commission. I was like, what? And that's the power of sales jobs, by the way. And this is something that you'd realize, that sales is one of the tougher the job, the higher are the chances of getting bonuses and commissions. That's how sometimes things work out. It takes a little while, but then it's like that. So once you're in the organization, if you're not just doing systematic and procedural work, but in fact doing something customer facing, you realize that the chances of getting a higher and steeper package is much easier. But if you're at the back end and far away from, the further away you are from the revenue, remember this thing, again, I'm repeating, the further away you are from the actual revenues inside the company, the lesser are your chances of getting a hike. The quicker you are and the closer you are towards getting revenue in the company, the faster you get a steeper package. Okay. With startups, you get a chance for ESOP. Yes, I'm pretty sure a lot of you don't know what ESOP is. People who don't know what ESOP is. How many of you don't know what ESOP is? No, Ayantini does not know the ESOP. What is ESOP? Priyanka does not know what's ESOP. A lot of interesting things. Avinav does not know what's ESOP. It's employee stock offering, and P, I'm forgetting. Percentage. Huh? No. Yeah? ESOP, something like that. I know what it is. So let me just come to that. ESOP is a small percent, a very tiny percent of equity that an employee gets for being a part of the company. So Amazon does that a lot, by the way. Employee stock option plan. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's employee stock option plan, wherein, for example, what you could do is you can buy equity in the company. And what they'll do is something like Amazon does this a lot. They'll give you a package of 14-15 lakh per annum. And you're going to be like, wow, this is an amazing package. But what in reality they're doing is they're giving you a 7 lakh package, and they're giving you an option that after 2 years, you will be getting this much worth of stock. So whenever Amazon stocks are increasing, you can sell the stock and get that much money back. You understand? That's what ESOP is. Tiny share kind, yeah, very tiny. They're usually 0.1, 0.01, very small percentages. And in startups, you might get like 0.5, 1%. Even if you're lucky, 1% is too high, but yeah, if you're lucky. So, okay, other questions, let's pick up. Okay, what does commitment mean for you? And how do you judge a person whether they have that or not? Commitment is equal to will to work. Commitment is equal to what I believe commitment means that when you are committed towards a particular task, you'll understand, ask a lot of questions. And my definition of commitment means going to the root cause of matters. It's not about somebody praising me all the time. It's not about somebody being like, yes, sir, you were amazing. Yes, sir, you're right. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. No, no. It's about questioning me again and again to understand exactly what I meant. And then from themselves, making sure that you're not just doing a part of what I told you, but instead you are taking me exactly where I want to reach by over delivering. That's what commitment is for me. Commitment for me, okay, is wherein you are asking critical questions, you are going to the root cause of matters and taking me where I actually want to go, not just going on the basis of what I just told you. Many people will do this. For example, I'll be like, hey, I want you to do this work by this time. They'll just do it and they'll be like, done, sir. Commitment for me is, hey, I want this so that, and by this time. They'll be like, okay, so but why do we need it by this time? Okay, because the client wants this. Okay, and you want me to do this. If I do something like this, will that make the client happier? I'll be like, yeah, it will. Okay, sir, but what about if I can do it like this? I think this will take lesser time and give better results. What do you think? I'll be like, wow, yes, yeah, that makes sense. That's what commitment is. You understand? Smart working, not hard working. That's what commitment is. When you go to the root cause of matters, and you can't know root cause of matters until and unless you're asking a lot of questions. Okay, that's commitment for me. Asking questions. Can you please repeat the question? I can't imagine how the situation will look like. I don't know. What is Game of Power? Because go check out the course. There's an entire session called Game of Power. Trust me, it's the most important part of the entire course. And Game of Power is where you are sitting with a client, you are sitting with whoever, and in that conversation, one person is always winning, by the way. Okay. So if I and you are having a conversation, there's one person who's going to win a conversation. There's always a game of power happening. You either going to feel inferior or you're going to feel superior. Okay. In any kind of conversation, it might even be a small plan that you're having in a group that, hey, which movie should we watch? And you'd realize, yeah, every time this person says and everybody listens to this one person and we have to watch that movie only. Why? It's because of Game of Power. That person's more influencer. That's what Game of Power means. You can use this tactic in negotiating a higher salary, use this tactic to close deals. You can use this tactic to get better retainer fees from your, from your clients and so many other places. HCL gave you so many stories to tell. Oh man, HCL. I think that was where I gained maximum of my weight. Yeah, that was one thing. I mean, my God, HCL was something. Akash, when you trap the HR in case of fresher asking, how can I reach that level? What to do next? Nothing. Wait for them to speak. Okay. If you are in an interview, having a good enough lengthy interview wherein the HR is also speaking and it's a conversation, that's a great sign. But if it's just you speaking and you go like, wow, I replied to everything, that doesn't necessarily mean that it went well. It only goes good if it's a conversation. Okay. Not a monologue wherein it's just you yapping, but also if you can ask them critical questions and they are also talking and then you have a conversation from there. Okay. Is good on making connections with seniors when he reached senior position he worked. And by the way, yeah, networking, Ishan, absolutely. I would say that network is your net worth. So yeah, I definitely agree to that part. Extremely important. And yes, that's one of the major reasons why people do really well. Anthony is trying to say something. I'm not quite sure. Or is she like on the phone? Not clear. FMCG pays the highest sales commission. I don't believe in that. I think real estate does, to be honest. I feel that real estate has much higher commissions and you don't even have to be in a company to do that. So real estate has crazy commissions. Like you can make 1 crore in a day all of a sudden. Like that's crazy. That's the kind of commission we're talking about in real estate. You realize most of the millionaires in our country have something to do with real estate. If they don't, very few people who don't have anything to do with real estate, because people put their money in land and properties, and that's where most money lies. You said you're going to talk about freelancer. Where can I watch the video? Divya, you said you talk about freelance. Oh, that video was IGTV on my Instagram, Divya. Is ESOP a bad thing? You mean ESOP, I think. ESOP, is that what you're asking? ESOP? Is ESOP a bad thing? No, it's actually a good thing, but it's either of the two things. One is that it's sometimes used to fool the person. If the company is so small that ESOP is irrelevant, sometimes it's actually a good thing. Something like Amazon providing ESOP, yes, it's definitely a good thing, because the shares, we all know how it's gone. And yeah, people who had ESOPs back then are probably like making a lot more money than they had. So yeah, it's a good thing as well. Depends. Amazon actually pays good. One of the graduate freshers got placement at 4.3 per annum. Amazon, what I've heard again is that some of the people that I know in the Amazon, like, it depends on, I think, the work. I have friends who have been doing go down related and operations related work. They're very troubled. They make them sleep in the office, by the way.
Okay, so the student that my student got placed, he is actually into IT, like basically the AWS.
Usme obviously. I call him a sir, although he's like a friend of mine. But yeah, I remember Dr. Giri. He got placed with a pretty good package. I can't reveal that, but yeah, he got placed with a pretty good package in Amazon. It's got very good positions. How do I watch earlier videos to cover the course? Divya, you can't do that. I'm not even sure if Divya is here. Is she here?
Yeah, she
is here. Okay, she is there. Okay, cool. Yeah, Divya. So no, you can't watch the course videos. The recording is not posted anywhere, to be very honest. I've just started recording in the last 2 sessions, to be very honest. The reason is just so that I can get some content, which I can put perhaps. Is there in the mail you received? I didn't understand the question. Ayantini, that was a question by you.
No, I just replied to Divya. I thought she's there because we received the mail of the copywriting one, so I thought she might be there also. So yeah, I just.
Abhinav, is humor cherry on the cake in an interview? Totally depends how you take it. So sometimes what we think is humorous might not be very funny for the other person. Totally depends on the scenario. Yes, of course, if you can make the interviewer laugh or smile a little bit, I think that's a good thing. But say something clever is what I'll say, rather than going all ha 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 ha. You understand? Like, it should be like a smirk, not a ha 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 moment. Otherwise, I just hope that they never take you as a joke. That should not be how it is. But depends. I mean, sometimes that also works. So there's no right answer to that. But yeah, humor is always welcome everywhere. Once I sat for an interview, when during personal interview, the interview was from Ramjas College, DU, and I graduated from KMC. The whole conversation went into off track, but I didn't believe when I got selected for the job. But I didn't believe when I got how to get benefits from this type of conversation. So are you saying that, Ishan, that in the end you did not get a job after having like a good connection, Ramjas and KMC connection? I did get the job. All right. So you did get the job. Yeah, of course. I mean, you can have, with mutual connectivity, of course, that makes a lot of sense. I've got one of my friends, and I am not joking what he did. Oshnik is one of my friends, and I'll tell you what that person did. Pretty interesting. He saw that the HR interviewer had a small Batman sticker on his laptop. And what he did was, hey, are you a Batman fan as I am? So he started having a small conversation. He's like, hey, I want to show you my mobile. He showed him a screen, like a wallpaper wherein he had something related to Batman. And he's like, I'm really fond of the Arkham version of things. And that's how they made a very small talk at the beginning. And they're like, okay. Then he was like, acha, let's go back to that. But nice to know that I'm talking to, I didn't know that, you people, can also be that kind of, you could be as geeky as me sometimes. Yeah, it's nice to know that. He's like, yeah. That's how they made a connection. So that does work out sometimes, and it's very powerful. Oh, another thing was they both were Bengalis. That also made a lot of sense. Somehow, if you meet someone from your community, that makes a lot of impact. And yeah, of course, these kind of things are very important.
Actually, similarities work. Like if you find something similar to talk, and if you have a small talk, they will be like, it is like out of the formality of having a interview, you will instantly connect, and there will be a higher chance of you are remembering, like you are remembered.
Yeah.
So when it comes for the selection, they're like, oh, I had this talk, like Batman talk with this guy. So you have a photograph.
That's what I, by the way, that's something that I do all the time. If you've not seen my interviews, that's what I do all the time. I literally go in a room full of people. Let's say there are 50 people out there. And I step into the room and first thing I go like, hi, my name is Kshitij Doval. I'm 100% sure that I won't remember 99% of the people out here. There is no way I'll remember 50 names today because I interact with quite a lot of people. And that's impossible for me to remember each one of you. So I'm going to give you each one line to speak about yourself. And let's see if I can remember it by the end of the 50 people.
So for me, my name is the biggest advantage.
Ayantini.
Yeah. It's so unique. The person will take 2 minutes to pronounce it. And by the time he learns it, it's like,
do I
okay,
pronounce it correctly? Ayantini.
Yeah, you did.
What does it mean?
It means Brahmagyan in Bengali.
Oh, Brahmagyan. Interesting. That's pretty interesting.
My parents took 2 months to name me. I was a nameless baby for 2 months.
The girl has no name. I don't know how many people got the Game of Thrones reference, but yeah. She who must not be named. Okay, so you got it. Great. Oh, nice to see some Game of Thrones fans out here, barring the last season. When company asked about last CTC, it said the employee gets 10% hike in the next job. So 30% hike should be said by an experienced one. Actually, to be very honest, 30% is the average. 10%, I don't know why that's made the new standard, but that's usually for a very basic system level corporate job. You get a 10% hike. But if you're really good at what you do, and when you're shifting from companies, I've seen people get 400% hikes as well. Usually in sales, that usually happens. I'm telling you, in closings and sales, that's where you get that much of hike. Cool. But you got a great name. Yes, she does. Wow. Ayantini. Okay, cool. Anybody has any questions you want to ask me? I'd love to answer some questions now. Let's open it for Q&A. Let's get a couple of questions.
All right, I have a question, and I am a young adult and very honestly, absolutely confused in life. I have no direction as to where I should be going, and I actually asked you a question yesterday on live, and it was quite helpful. So what happens is, like you said, I'm experimenting with a lot of fields, with almost everything, and seeing what clicks into my future ahead. I feel that recently I was a part of something, okay, let's say project, and because of something I couldn't guarantee to them, I had to quit, and I didn't want to see, just because me quitting ahead in the future will cause them a lot of problem for them too, and I didn't want that, right? So I feel somewhere like a failure because I feel I don't have the level of commitment, and I'm always just juggling from one organization, or not organization, like from one project to another project, just keep on experimenting, and I'm just not moving forward. I just feel like, do I lack the commitment? Where am I lacking? Why am I lacking? Why do I feel like a failure? Like, I just don't understand.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty common, by the way. So it's not just you. Let me be very, very clear. There are a lot of them, a lot of people, and everyone's been there. So let me be clear about this one thing. But yes, I understand your direction, where you're heading. And there are a lot of people who have gone into that self-doubt that I don't know what to do exactly, where all to be at. Khadija, if you don't mind me asking a question, like, I don't know how to directly ask that. I've been told that that's rude, but what's your age?
Absolutely fine. I am 21.
Oh, wow. So that's a cool age to actually flaunt, right? So that's fine. So 21, you're very young. So if you are 21, this means you literally, what have you done recently? Like, have you done your college, or are you currently pursuing college, or what are you doing?
I'm still in my third year, and I was
Third year in?
IT engineering.
Okay, IT engineer. All right.
Yes.
So at this point of time, see, I actually believe in what Jack Ma says, and I did say that yesterday as well, if you were there in the IG live, that until 20, you should be learning as much as learning as possible. So you should just focus on your education, get good marks, focus on extracurricular and learning. Not education, but learning is what you should be focusing on. 20 to 30, follow one person or follow the right set of people, 10 steps ahead of you, not 100 steps away from you. That's fine. You can follow them on social media, but 10 steps ahead from you, who can literally guide you, give that personalized support, that customized direction, and can take you 10 steps ahead. Okay. The whole point here is not to find the perfect job. The whole point out here is not to find the perfect company. The whole point here is to find the perfect boss. That's it. You're just finding the right person who can help you reach your goals and give you a little bit of direction. And trust me, if you find a person and you go like, that's the kind of person I want to work for, now all you have to do is figure out how can you provide value to that person. What is it that you have, or what does that person need? That will be better actually. What does that one person need? Now it doesn't matter whatever you have to do for that. You can do redundant tasks. You can be like, I have something that you don't. And you know what do you have that they don't? You have time. They don't have time. You understand? So people who are 10 steps ahead of you, they will not have time. They don't know how to, they won't have time for doing a lot of tasks. It could be anything. It could be, I don't know, maybe writing, people want a personal brand on LinkedIn, but they don't have the time to write their posts because it's lengthy. It takes time. You go like, I can do that. People don't have time to engage on social media. I can handle your social media. It could be anything. You understand? Something related to your skill, even better. If it's something relevant to your skills, which you're extremely good at, it's even better that way. But find a person, work for them, and trust me, slowly and steadily that person will start, and try to ask them a few questions every once a week that, okay, I'm working for this, and just stick with that one person. If you think that you get a good vibe working with that one person, and you get a good vibe working in the team, just forget about money. This is the time where you can absolutely forget about money. 21, it's like, it's nothing. Money is not really the biggest concern at this very moment.
I'm being pressurized by like almost everyone. They're like, okay, you're juggling from one thing to another. What's the point? You don't earn or any. I mean, it's always come down to like monetizing, getting. If I'm working as well, I'm developing on working on myself. I'm like, people are pointing, and they're like, I mean, it makes sense to me at some times. Like, what's the end result? Am I getting something out of it? Am I getting money? I'm not.
Okay.
So,
all right. So that's fine. That's fine. See, first of all, of course, if you're giving your time, it is something that you will charge something or the other. It's always better to get paid some amount, and that's perfectly fine. Don't focus too much about. Learn to, like, if you want to, you can always say something like this, that I want to earn my job. I want to earn my job rather than I just don't want to get a job, unlike other people. So let's say if somebody asks you that, why should I hire you? What do you have? You can directly say something like, I want to earn my job. I don't want to get a job. You understand? This one line will make a lot of difference. You say, I don't care. I have basic need of this much money. And all I need is this much. That's fine, because I have this, I have that. So this much money will do for me right now. But I just want to make sure while I'm getting this and I'm giving my time, I'm giving my commitment, I'm learning, whatever is required for me to do, I'm doing everything in my capacity to reach there. And post that, once I'm able to do something like that, that will be great, because all I want to see is, that's great. Of course, I want to see this revenue growing with time. That's something that I'm definitely looking out for. But can you guide me into that direction? I'll be doing a lot of things from my end, but once in a while, maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes of your time, can I get that once a week so that you could guide me? Where am I and how can I reach there faster? Like, I am the kind of person, if I get into something, I'm going to be the best at it. Okay, whatever it may be. If I am, I don't care. Even if you're sweeping, mopping the floor, I'm going to be the best at mopping the floor. You understand? Even if I'm doing anything for that man, I'm going to be the best at it. But now, can you guide me? How can I be the best in your company? Because I'm not leaving your side. You get that point? When you do something like that, trust me, the one thing that's actually missing from your life perhaps is the right kind of guidance, the right network who can actually push you where you have to be. Because honestly, what I get the feeling is that you are self-aware, and trust me, 60% of the job is done. If you're self-aware, you know there's a problem, 60% of the job is gone. You know that. There are 60% people who don't even realize that. They're just in that hallucination that, yeah, we're great, everything's good, there's nothing wrong. Like, okay. Or they don't even care. They're so distracted in life. For you, that's a very good thing. You're 60% ahead of most of the people out there. Now you have to do the 40% part. That is actually taking action. Okay. And that's the one thing that I would suggest to you. Trust me. Identify one person. Don't worry so much about the monetary part of it. Just make sure that your basic necessities are met. Okay. And deliver lots and lots of values. Ask them, what is your biggest problem? How can I be of help? What can I do? And I want to help. I want to learn. I'll be very honest. I'm a little selfish. I want to learn from you, and I feel that this is something that I can get into. I would require 15 minutes of your time, and just for those 15 minutes of your time, I'm ready to do. Tell me what all do I have to do in that particular span of time. How can I help you? How can I add more value in your life? As a complete fresher, that's something that you can actually do. And trust me, while you might be like, that doesn't make sense, there are quicker ways of making money. Of course, there are, by the way. To be very honest, there are much quicker ways to make money. You can go into a call center. Call center jobs will pay you good 25, 30 grand quite easily. Quite easily. I've got some of my friends who are working in Google and Cognizant and making 21, 22 grand. I don't know if you guys know about those kind of jobs. You have to handle a Google My Business account. It's not really a hi-fi job. It's a simple job, but yeah, you don't learn anything, but yeah, you can just flaunt that I'm working in Google, I'm working in Cognizant. Okay. There are jobs like those too. But the chances of growing is very less there. You can't really grow. And in fact, that experience will not help you. Let's say tomorrow you actually are planning to do something that you're super passionate about. And you say that I have a job this, I have a job there. Okay, so what did you do there? I did this. They'll be like, yeah, but it's irrelevant experience. So you understand, irrelevant experience is far worse than having experience, like not having experience at all, because at least you have the time to get new experience. You get it? So that's something that you need to do. Focus on where you want to work, which industry do you want to work into, how can you help that person, how can your skills help that person. And all you need to do is create milestones for yourself, like every week 15 minutes, be like, can we get on a call? I just wanted to learn a little bit about it. Where am I? How can I reach there? Where am I till now? How am I doing? A lot of other things. As I said, the real trick lies in questioning, not in answers. I hope that helps. I'm pretty sure like all of that at one go will be a lot of information to process, but trust me, go one step at a time. Simple. Just identify that one person who you look up to, who you think will take me wherever I have to be. Start with that. Let's come back after that. You tell me about that. You can probably text me that, okay, I've identified this person. I might be able to go there. And then from there onwards, I'll at least guide you that, okay, next step is this, next step is that, and slowly and steadily we'll go. Okay. How about that? I think that's fair. Cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any questions?
I have one thing, like listening to Khatija, something came up into my mind. Okay, so considering into like my age, I'm 26 right now, and my cousins, my friends, there are plenty of people that I know are doing really good in their life, and I am not doing very well, and I'm stuck at a certain amount as a salary. So my point here is, if I want to change a job, or if I am like having a, like for example, appraisal meeting or something, so how can I pitch in of having a higher paid job, like taking a leap of some amount? Because if I go for a job change, there will be like options, like they would be giving me around 20%, 25% hike, not more than that. And there's something like I'm having an experience of around 4.5 years. So considering that and how much I'm getting paid, it's very unacceptable to me. So how do I do this?
So you're asking in the same company if you want a higher package, a steep package, right?
Same company, or even if I change. So even if I change, there are like the telephonic interviews that are coming in. They are like, we can offer you 20% hike, we can offer you 25% hike. Still, that is
want
not
much higher. You want, let's say, 100% hike, perhaps, like doubling your salary.
probably, obviously, the more the merrier types.
Okay, you're not gonna like the answer.
Yeah.
So the answer is pretty much, first of all, it's very hard. I think you're in the training industry, right? Like you're into training and all. So the difficult part out here is that, of course, there are a lot of trainers. So it depends a lot on your reputation and credibility, number one. So that's something that needs to already be established. But the difficult part out there, which I've realized is, um, if you are, see, everybody, I'm not joking. So this is like something like, you have to be okay with the fact and understand that it all boils down to money, because it's business, right? uh, you are a source, you are a channel for them to, they are not getting business from you. Try to understand what's happening. They're not getting business from you, they're getting business from somewhere else. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, but I'm into placements also. Like when they are pitching in for sales, the main focus that goes into is placement, and I'm working really hard. Like last month in lockdown, I have placed around 13 students. So
All
with
right.
a good salary. So that is somewhere like I'm relevantly giving it into the point of sales also.
So you're saying that you're helping students get placed.
Yes, I search openings and then arrange interviews and then get them placed.
Okay. And the company that you're working for does that, like that, I mean, you know, they are in the end doing it, and you
Institute.
are the person who actually does it.
It's like TPO in the colleges like we have.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So one of the ways is that you actually identify that what kind of colleges are they going for? So are they going for colleges or companies or individuals?
Companies.
They're going for
Companies.
companies. So in companies, if they want better, no, I don't understand. So they want, from where are they picking up? Are they picking up students to place them into companies? Is that what it
So
is?
you're asking about my job.
Yeah.
So I am a training and placement officer working with a IT institute.
Mhm.
There is a hardware networking and software institute wherein the students come in, they do a course for a certain amount of time, 6 months or 1 year. And then there is something called as employment and grooming that is done by me.
Mhm.
And after that, they are going for the interviews to the companies and organizations where we are placing them.
Mhm. Okay. And you're doing that for students? That's what you said?
Students.
All right. And currently, where are these students from?
Mostly they come as undergraduates, like they have completed 12th and few are pursuing and few are not doing any courses or like graduation or something. Mostly I get those students.
How are these students coming in?
Like how are as in?
How are these students coming in? Like, do you get them for the company, or the company gives them to you that, you know, these are some students, can you help them out?
So there are two scenarios wherein I call the companies and I ask them that they do they have any vacancies.
No, you're not understanding. My question is different. My question is not that, what is your, I understood your role. I'm asking that these students who need a job, are they given by the business to you, by the company to you, or do you find these students to
No,
then?
these are our students. It is like you are studying in a college.
Yeah.
And you are waiting for placement. It is the same setup, only it's an institute wherein they are doing a 6-month and a 1-year course.
Yeah.
With
Who
us.
gets, no, that's my question. Who gets these people for that six month or 1 year course?
The sales people, they do it from the Facebook or somewhere. There are self walk-ins, all these.
Now, let me talk about me having something like this. So, okay, if I have an institute with 6 month and 1 year courses, and after the course is complete, I have a team wherein I have Iontini who will help them get placed. That's how it is, right?
Right.
Right. Now, I'll tell you the problem here. The problem is, Iontini, if let's say I'm having 100 students, a batch of 100 students, out of which you've helped me place 10, that shows great performance from your end, right? Which means, how does it help me? It helps me in building my brand value. I can showcase more results that, see, this is the results we get you guys. So that's what your job is, right? So
Right.
definitely there are two ways of you getting a higher, actually there are many more, but yeah, two comes at the top of my mind. I think three, I might go to the third one as well. But one way is, you clearly just tell them that, okay, if I'm able to place more students, let's double the rate, will my, like, or can I get a commission per student, or when I actually place this much number of students, can I get a hike of this much? One is that you place more students, it shows a bigger number, the brand gets higher, right? Second way, you get them more students. Okay, you get them more students. You be like, because let me be very clear, their immediate money coming today is more valuable than money coming in the future. So at that point of time, who are giving them money? The students, right? Because when they come in for the 6 month or the 1 year course, that's their biggest revenue model. And because of that thing, you are getting your salary. So their biggest pain point is to get more and more students. There is no bad, like there's no system wherein they can't have more than these, right? So they can always have more. They'll hire more people, then they'll hire more people like you to give them jobs, right? But essentially, their biggest challenge is to get more and more students. So if you can help in that, this will steep up your entire whatever you're looking at in a much better manner. Now, third is pretty interesting. Third is something wherein you can work on a separate, you can create a separate, you could be an intrapreneur. Do you know what an intrapreneur is? Now, there are two things. One is an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is somebody who starts their own business, has an idea, and works towards solving problems in the society, right? Intrapreneur is an entrepreneur within an organization. It's pretty clever. I'll tell you what it does. Identify the biggest challenges inside the company and create a solution for the company. What's the benefit of that? Number one, you don't have to invest any capital. It's the company's capital. Second, you're not asking for a higher package. You're getting them exact some money, and you'll get a good bunch of that money once that starts functioning. And you'll in fact become a mini CEO in that segment once you start that. Okay, that's another part of it.
Can you give me some example to
Sure.
like relate?
Okay, I'll tell you a simpler example in HCL, for example. Okay, so all right, or even better, let me just try UNU School of Execution. For example, let's say I have my school, my online school, and I need students, right? That's my way of making money into the business, right? That's how UNU School survives. So there's this resource who will say that, how are you currently doing it? So I go like, yeah, this is the process. This is how, like, first I launch an ad. In that ad, I'm getting people, they sign up, they get an automated mail, then they click on the button, they come to the WhatsApp group. Inside the WhatsApp group, they come to Zoom, and from Zoom, they directly land into something like that. Now, the question that I would, like, let's say if I am an employee there, I would be like, all right, but there's too many steps. How many people do you get from the ad? We'll be like, we get 1,000 people. And how many people do you pitch on Zoom? 150 people. So technically, you just only 150 people know exactly what you're pitching. What if we can find a way to pitch to the exact 1,000 people rather than 150 people? I'll be like, okay, so what is your suggestion? Okay, how about this? Let me try to create a VSL for you. And through that VSL, we'll be pitching and retargeting these 1,000 people. Chances are much higher of these 1,000 people. If from 150 people you're getting 50 people as students, from 1,000 people you might get 150 students or 100 students. Isn't that a bigger number? Isn't that a better number? I'd be like, that sounds good, but I don't know how the practical execution plan will go. Be like, can you give me the weekend? Can I work out a plan and show it to you? And with that, slowly and steadily, they'll realize, and this is what I'm talking about. This shows commitment, by the way. You are worried about the end goal of that particular company. That makes the founder and the major team out there believe. You don't have to say, hey, I'm a committed person. No, it doesn't. Your talks will not correlate to that. Your actions will correlate to that. Once you do stuff, that shows some result. And it's not like, hey, I got this idea and I didn't even get a raise. No, you don't get a raise like that. Once your talks, which turn into actions, get results, that's when you can do that. But the best part is, you are not sacrificing on your job. You're getting equal pay. You're getting some amount every time. You're more passionate because you know that you're working towards something. Third, your talent is being recognized and you're giving good enough solutions and you're working towards that and you're understanding the core problems of the company. And all these things will really matter a lot. But again, it's easier said than done. What I'm saying is very difficult to implement. Very tiny percentage of people can actually execute it in a good manner. But if you can do it, you'd realize that the problem of money will disappear and the challenge of recognition will disappear. Because whenever this gets into action and start getting results, you'll become the mini CEO of that segment suddenly, automatically. The company will recognize that this person started it and she clearly deserves this. Or they'll give you a very good raise, a very steep raise, and a very good position in the company. You understand? I hope that kind of makes sense. Yes. By the way, in HCL, these are called ideapreneurs. Like in HCL, there's actually a concept called ideapreneurs. And ideapreneurs, they have this concept of entrepreneurs who get ideas and actually improve the processes or reduce the cost. So you have to either reduce the cost of the company or increase the revenue of the company, one of the two. And if you're able to do that, either reducing the cost or increasing the revenue, you're much more valuable to the company than any other Tom, Dick, or Harry out there. Identify a way. It's it's a little critical, it's a little difficult, but
Yeah.
identify one way, having a proper plan of action. Maybe discuss it with me. I'd love to know a little more about that. Maybe in the next class, in the end, we can spare out 5 minutes perhaps, and wherein I can listen to what you had in mind or how you decided to actually go about that. Chalo, I think that might have helped a lot of people out there. So guys, these are very important things. Ria has says being pressurized is something so common for everyone at this age. It depends on us how we control our thoughts and how we rewire our brain, because we get pressurized. We will be pressurized for the rest of our life. We control of our thoughts and our emotions, because that is important. I do agree to that in a manner that, I do believe that you take charge of your life. And another thing, guys, I've realized one thing: the happier you are, and I'm not just saying this as any motivational speaker, trust me, this is a very, very integral part. What I'm going to say, this part, very important. 21 is honestly such a confusing age. Yeah, everybody says that. At the age of 14 also, they say 14 is a very confusing stage. 30 will be a very
Every
confusing
age is
stage.
confusing.
No, like you're
Every
out
age
of
is
college
confusing.
and you are thinking, what should I do now? Like that way I'm
No,
saying.
every age is confusing. Wherever you say 14 is very confusing for many people. For many people, 17 is very confusing. Oh my God, Konsa college. For many people, 21 is very confusing. I'm a fresher. What do I do? For many people, 26 is very confusing. Oh my God, marriage time, this time, job, and so much pressure. For many people, 35 is very confusing. Oh my God, should I now follow my passion or worry about my family? So confusion is there throughout your
Everything is
life.
confused.
Imagine your life without challenges. Is that even a life? Like, that's like come on, have a story. You're building up a story. Listen, the universe is constructing a story for you, which you can go out there later on in life and go on stage someday and say that I was actually once upon a time doing this, and later on I did everything that I had to, and today I'm here. That's a great thing. So these confusing parts are actually quite interesting. And coming back to that point that I was speaking on, remember this part, very important. Please be positive. And the reason why I'm saying that is, you'd realize this: if you're having a conversation with someone and that person is a little negative, you being like, oh, but what about that? I need something like this. Your negativity will only increase the negativity. But and this works out with your parents. For example, if you ever want to convince your parents into something that they don't like, anybody, your bosses, your colleagues, whoever, if you are positive with a smile and you're talking, even if, for example, there's a no, it's fine. Don't take it to the heart. It's fine. You come back and you again say that, yeah, I'm planning to do something like that and this and that, and you are just happy. You'd realize that if you're happy, your happiness is communicable. The other person is also going to get a smile eventually, and the positive vibes are felt, and they themselves give a right answer. They'll also give you eventually the answer that you want to listen to. But if you become negative and angry, that's the same response you're going to get from the other side. Try it sometime. Do an experiment. When your pitch is higher, automatically the other person's pitch gets higher, and the same happens. Imagine you're talking very calmly, but the other person's pitch goes higher, your pitch will also go higher. The same logic applies everywhere. If you're facing challenges, if you think that there's some problems in life and all, take it up with a smile on your face, and trust me, if you're confident that it's not about your confidence that you can do it or you can't do it. Forget about that right now. Just focus on that I have to do one step at a time, but I'm going to be happy. I'm going to have that smile and a smirk on my face that, yeah, I'm badass. I can do whatever I want to do. And it's fine. Fine. It's a phase. It's fine. Cool. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes things don't. In the end, I control my fate, not somebody else. And we're going to eventually be there.
So
Have that
it's
sort
like
of an
buttering,
Sir,
buttering the person,
Sorry?
buttering the person to get the work done.
No, not buttering the person. Just be happy. That's what I'm saying. Whatever you're trying to express, be happy. Be jovial. It works even in sales. If you are trying, you can't be like this and expect the person to buy. No, the person will also become this. But if you're happy, the enthusiasm is transferred. Somebody actually said Sarsa, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I have said.
Abhinav, I think.
Sir.
Is it Abhinav? Animesh?
Yes, sir. Animesh.
Hi, Animesh.
Sir, because of the data khatam hone wala hai, so I just want to ask the question. Like a day after tomorrow, like on Wednesday, I have a GD.
Mm-hmm.
So like a teacher is giving the topic, and I have to speak about the topic. Just for 5 minutes, I have to prepare about the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't know anything about the topic, then how I should tackle the situation?
It's there in the course, by the way, but I'll tell you. Just stay quiet for the first 1 or 2 minutes. Listen to the other people and try to get as much data as you can. Start with a question. being like, like, okay, that makes sense, but what about that? Let the person answer more so that you get more data. And once you have enough data that you can speak a little bit, then use your communication skills so that you can crack that GD.
Okay, so like if I just want to end the about the topic, like just giving the conclusion about it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have to speak less about the topic. Like at last I am just giving the conclusion. So like what are the
Horrible.
lines that I should be
No, that's not
using?
a good thing. That's not a good thing. What you need to do is you of course need to speak. You have to give your views about that. And that's an important part. But the best element is what you could be doing. And I'll suggest something like this. One, just stay quiet for the first few minutes if you have no idea about it. Okay. If you're quiet, a lot of people will speak and you'll get a lot of good ideas and a lot of information you'll get. So you have to process information. Post that, after 1 or 2 minutes, once you've heard a lot of people, then you start with a question. So when you ask a question to somebody, try asking a question to somebody saying that I completely agree with what you said, and repeat what he said. Okay, so that it feels and gives the feeling that you already know about that. And when you do that, then let the other person speak more about it so that you get more data. Once you get more data, then you can actually, then you can speak something about it. And in the end, what you could be doing is that to conclude, I do agree with this person, that this person said this and this person said this. And I think that was pretty fascinating. There were also some interesting points from there. But in the end, I think it was a fruitful debate, but from a fruitful group discussion. But my personal opinion would still lie towards what these people said. And I still believe that they had a much powerful impact in this conversation. Thank you so much. You really did not say anything from yourself. You technically just repeated a lot of stuff that these people said, but you showcased leadership, you showcased communication, you showcased critical questioning, and these three things are good enough for you to crack a GD.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. I've actually been in one of these GDs.
The energy communicates if you don't do verbal communication. The energy communication. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, yeah, through your body language, there's several other things, but yeah, verbal bhi zaruri hai. Try to use that as well. Okay, guys, so I think this was a fruitful session. Hopefully, a lot of people had a good time here, a lot of interesting doubts, and I think it's 11:10. So at 11:11, that magical time, we're going to actually end this entire topic. I hope a lot of people got a lot of insights. As I already said, this is not for everyone. And there was a lot of information in this. In case you need the recording of this session, I will record it. So in case somebody needs a recording of the session, you can tell me before I delete it. Okay. So probably you can probably ask something like that. That's perfectly fine. You can ask on the Telegram group maybe, and I'll try to do that. It's not a regular thing. I'm not going to do that all the time, but yeah, I'm going to keep it saved perhaps here. And if you ever need something like this, this would be important, because I know that it's going to be important for a lot of people. Okay. So great, guys. We're going to practice this sometime in the future, that how to negotiate a higher salary in real. I hope you guys made points. Okay. It's also there in the course. It's very, very important. And yeah, rest. Take care, guys. We're going to see you now to some of the copywriting students on Thursday. All the best to Animish for your GD. And Khadija, looking forward to that answer. And Ayantini, I need a small update as to what you really did. Okay, what are your plans?
I'll think about it for 1 or 2 days and I'll implement something.
Take a week. Relax. Take a week, entire week. Build up your thought. Give some time per day, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Before sleep, just pick up a diary, start writing something, and you'd realize that, that then you're at least moving somewhere. Sometimes all you have to do is just do a small or mini audit of yourself. And many times the answer is right there. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you so very much, guys, and take care. Bye-bye. See you very, very soon again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.